would like to welcome everyone in this room to our 6th annual Nutrigenomics retreat, take 2. As you remember, there was a previous attempt that had to be called off because of family emergencies, travel issues, but now here we are hosting our 6th annual retreat. Before turning the mic over to our Dean R.G. Clutter, would like to make one housekeeping comment. This session will be videotaped and I think posted on the internet later on for people to look at. So be prepared to ask good questions. I mean, these questions will not be edited. So so whatever you say is going to be on video. I will have a few comments on the retreat itself, but I'll reserve those comments for after Archie's welcoming remarks. So with this, I'll turn this over to Archie. Okay. Here's your. Oh well, one more comment. I mean, sorry about that. The mics are on, but you cannot really hear the mic projecting. It's really only for the recording. So don't be surprised if you think you're talking to a mic and you can't really hear the speakers kicking in. This is just the way the setup works.
Well, good morning. I'm Archie Clutter. I'm Dean of the Agricultural Research Division in the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources here at the University of Nebraska. And it's my pleasure to welcome you also to this annual spring retreat for the Nebraska Gateway for Nutrigenomics. I want to welcome our visitors, welcome you to the University of Nebraska and the city of Lincoln. We have a lot of positive activity here across the university and in the city, so I hope and I trust that you'll have an opportunity to learn more about some of that and experience some of that while you're here. I want to congratulate Janos and team for again putting together a wonderful agenda for this retreat, and congratulate the entire team for the ongoing progress that you're achieving in nutrigenomics. This initiative and this team is another great example of transdisciplinary collaboration and the impact that it can achieve. In this case, collaboration across many units of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, the link to the University of Nebraska Medical Center, and relationships with the private sector. All that together will bring about great impact on human health. And that impact and that strategy is consistent with the mission of the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And I brought along just a few slides to share with you because I think I can describe that most clearly by talking about our recent and ongoing growth initiative and some of the things that build around that. So I'll talk about that just a little bit here. And I think it's useful, especially for those of you that are visiting us, to understand the breadth of the scope, the breadth and scope of research in the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources. That portfolio includes talent and resources in 12 units, departments or schools in the Institute, but also 3 departments in the College of Education and Human Sciences. Those are Human Nutrition, Child, Youth, and Family Studies, and Textiles. And it's through that broad spectrum of talent and resources that we can take systems approaches to solving problems and addressing opportunities across the whole range from food production to human health. We can study grazing systems and cropping systems and the relationship with natural resources and landscapes and how those ultimately impact human health and healthy humans and healthy communities. So with respect to this group, it really focuses on that piece. And we also do that across an incredible range of growing environments and diverse communities across the state of Nebraska. And we have research and extension stations placed strategically across the state. I just went to the Cattleman's Ball in Banner County, Nebraska over the weekend, so I made that drive across the state and back, and you really feel like you are in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in that panhandle, that shows the gradient of rainfall. There's a like gradient of elevation across the state. And again, the diversity of communities and populations across the state is incredible. So it was in that context that a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago, we charged our faculty with taking a look at where they could have great impact in these areas across food, fuel, water, people, and landscapes, describing that impact and then working backwards to say, what is the work you would need to do to achieve that impact? What are the existing transdisciplinary teams in place to do that work? And then identifying what are the gaps in those teams as priorities for a hiring initiative. And within that entire complex, we identified 5 areas that emerged, and you can see them along the left side of the slide there. Also recognize that there may be core needs within units that need to be addressed. And within those areas, the faculty and our unit leaders wrote position descriptions to describe those gaps. And as you look across there, right in the center, I think, are positions and priorities that directly relate to this team, this initiative, and this conference today. Because computational sciences is a growth initiative that will continue into the second phase of this. We recognize there that there's a whole spectrum of big data, but we look for people with talent and working at some area across that spectrum of data from the molecule to the organism to the system. And just look for 3 people that could potentially fit into one of several departments, but to work in data science. And then you can see the priority around healthy humans, both in basic biology and physiology, but also in behavior. And we've completed, there were 36 positions up there. There were a couple of pools that were deep enough that we found a way to hire 2 people, so a total of 38 positions. And I think, and there's the man who could tell me, I think 32 of those are probably filled.
Yes.
But so in about 1.5 years from the release of those positions to today, we've been able to fill 32 of those 38. And most of those folks are on campus already. In fact, there's some folks in the room with their picture on that slide. But that represents more than 20 FTE in the research division as part of those hires, and that's growth. And so the Institute is growing significantly, and we're entering a second phase of that initiative. There's also a lot going on around partnerships with the private sector. And again, it relates directly to what you're going to be talking about here and the things that you're working on. So if you're from around here, you've heard about Nebraska Innovation Campus. That's a drawing of the initial footprint. These buildings here, these are office buildings. This is a renovated 4-H building. This is on the former site of the Nebraska State Fair, which has been moved a few years ago. So this is a renovated 4-H building that's a conference facility, and this is an industrial arts building from the fair. This will be laboratory and classroom space that will house our new food initiative. So that's what it looks like in concept. This is a picture from this morning. You can tell the weather's consistent. This building is near completion and we'll have folks moving into that in the next couple of months, including New Tech Ventures, our licensing entity. Nebraska Innovation Campus personnel will be housed there. Water for Food Institute. So those will be administrative buildings. This is that 4-H, a wonderful conference facility that we've started to use. And then you can see the rest of this is under construction. There's also going to be greenhouses here by the end of the calendar year that will house our high throughput phenotyping facility. So that's what it looks like today. This is a shot from a couple of days ago looking out of that 4-H building, the conference facility, towards the part that's still under construction. And this will house the Food Innovation Center, into which the Food Science and Technology Department will move next summer. You also saw on the first slide the ConAgra logo, and ConAgra is the first announced partner. The Innovation Campus is aimed at housing collaborative research between and among our faculty and private sector scientists, and ConAgra will occupy significant space in this first footprint. This is just the blueprint, the current blueprint of what that space will look like, and I wanted to point out one area within that will house a clinical investigation site or innovation site. So this will be a significant step forward on this campus for providing clinical space as an interface and as a part of our work in human health, food for health, and nutrigenomics. So that's just a brief update on some of the things that are going on here. I hope to get back and see some of what you're doing throughout the day. It really does look like a wonderful agenda. So welcome and enjoy the day.